Hi everyone, thank you for joining me and watching this new video demonstration on how to paint on black paper. For this one I decided to use my Prismacolor pencil because I do have some different gray tones for my Prismacolors which I do not have for the Polychromo pencils. As I was not sure if the white is opaque enough, I also picked my Derwent Drawing Chinese white, which is in my opinion the most opaque white that I have available here, and I started. In terms of paper, this is just some crafting paper because I did not really have a black paper available in the size that I wanted to have. I only have an A4 sized black paper block, but as I wanted to cut it in a square in the end, I found the A4 block was too small, so I picked the crafting paper, which had a bit more of a texture than I'm normally used to. So it was not that easy getting rid of all of these black dots showing through my drawing, but after some layering I got to a point where I thought it looks cool. Quite obvious, a very much difference than drawing on white paper is that you go from a very dark underground. So drawing on white paper you normally have one or more dark pencils and shade in the white paper. As the paper is already black, so you have to turn your methods around. So just to give me a reference on the values, I used my white pencil as the first one and I blocked in all the highlight areas. And the reference photo I can show you here. And this was a photo I just found randomly on another profile and I asked the person if I can draw this. And I was graciously allowed, so thank you for that. I will show you his Instagram name here in the video as well, so if you like, have a look. He has awesome photos and I really liked this one because of the strong contrast that it has. So in the very beginning I thought that I could use just one white pencil, so like I use one charcoal pencil for drawing on white paper, but this was not really that easy to do. I think I could have done this with one pencil only and a black, so just in creating the values with these both pencils, but as the texture was quite a rough one, I was not sure if I can manage to get a smooth drawing with only these two pencils. So I decided to grab some more, which was the Gris Froid, 20%, 50% and 80%, so just some values in between. And I've chosen the Gris Froid version and not the Gris Chaud version because I wanted it to look a bit cooler in the end. And cooler in terms of cold, not cool. Once I had my very high highlights blocked in the drawing, which I also do on white paper when I block in all the darks at first, so I had my reference value for the lightest tones, and then I just started shading in all the areas in between. Something that I realized in the very end when I compared both photos was that I went too dark, especially on the cheek area. This was the reason because obviously my tablet, where I'm actually drawing from, seems to be much darker in the settings than my computer screen is. But my tablet already is on the brightest setting that I can actually make there, so there's nothing I could change. And I basically will have to live with it, I guess. So, but it's always strange when I look the same picture on different screens, so like my mobile phone, my tablet and my computer screen, and it looks different on each of them. Something that was really nice is that you can make small details with a sharp pencil, so which I did in the beard area in a way. And it was also nice to see that you can draw these small very fine hairs with the white pencil, which was quite opaque, which I did not really expect in the first place, even with single strokes only. So this one stood out really well, so I was quite happy with it. So something to be aware of that comes just with the type of the black paper, as it's a very dark underground, is the fact that it in a way mutants your colors quite a lot. So if you go for vibrancy and put some reds or blues or whatever vibrant color you want to achieve onto the paper, it will take away much of the saturation. So you will need to get more layers, as you would probably normally do, and you might need to add some brighter colors like a white or yellow just to lighten these colors up again. So actually I was not sure how opaque the white will be. It was better than I expected. My very first attempt of using black paper was when I drew Bella from Twilight, as I wanted to use a very dark background to make her eyes pop a bit more, but I really did not like the result. It was muted and my technique was at this point really not, let's say, good. so I did too many mistakes to make it look great. But overall, I just did not like how the vibrancy was on the paper, and so I was frustrated in between, and I just couldn't do it at this point. I wanted to try it again because you never give up, right? And yeah, this time it turns out better, but I'm really not sure if I can manage to go on a really colored portrait or something on a black paper. I will probably try this in colors, but yeah, we will see. Let me know if you like this one, and then we will see what it brings in the future. Something which I also realized in between of my drawing is that these small dark dots showing through from the paper in a way also change your values. So as the white does on the white paper change the values there, it does also here, but here it is way more obvious because the dark is so much darker than your color layers. So this was really some point to get a hang for first until I was able to cope with it and to achieve the effects that I wanted to have. Something that I thought was a bit strange looking all the time were these gray tones that I also added to the paper, so not just the white or the black pencil, just the gris froid pencils, as these in a way look strange in colors, not like really fitting to the piece. This in a way was better when the piece was finished, so it looked overall quite nice. But overall, when I was drawing, I always had a feeling this will turn out strangely with these colors, as they looked in a way not as I expected them to look. Somehow, I'm not sure if you think the same, if you can see it, I don't know, but in the end it looks quite nice. When most of the face was done, or at least blocked in to a certain point, I decided to draw the background, which was more or less a very dark black background, and I went with the colored pencil. Of course, as the color pencil black is even blacker, is blacker a word? Is even more black than the paper itself was, and I wanted it to be as dark as humanly possible. So I started, and I just figured out that the black of the pencil is not even black enough for me. So I really wanted to be darker than I was able to achieve with the pencil, and so I did it again. I cheated. I grabbed my black oil paints, as this is the darkest black that I have here. If you have any idea what I could have used instead of the oil paints, which is really as dark as it can be, let me know. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts, what you think. If you have any alternatives, yeah, let me know. So I added some oil paint in the black areas, and this really darkened everything a lot. So I really liked the contrast, and the white was even whiter when I added the oil paints, and this was cool. I only added a very thin layer of the oil paint, and I used some liquid just to have it dried until the next day, which worked quite well. Something you can also use when using oil paints, if you have already some color pencil on the paper, so especially in the area where the light came from, which was a bit lighter, you can use this color pencil and oil mixture to blend everything together. So your oil paints in a way work as a solvent and dilute the pigment that is on the paper a bit, so you can intermix both mediums, which I think works really well. So I could blend everything quite nice together, and everything looked darker, and it was nice. Of course, the oil paints as well have some kind of shimmery effect, so in general I would have preferred something really dark and drying matte, so no shimmer on it, but I did not really know what to use instead, so all the colors that I have are a bit shiny when dried, even the black oil paint. So if you have any idea what I could have used alternatively, write me in the comment please. So when everything was dry on the next day, I added a layer of brush and pencil texture fixative just to add another layer of pencil, and I also wanted in a way to seal everything down to have a new fresh layer to start with. And so I did, and I was able to go over some of the areas again just to lighten up things or correct values and stuff. So this, as you can see here, worked quite well. For most of the parts of the face I was able to get rid of the small dots showing through my drawing, and at some areas I thought it was really looking nice having these small dots visible, as they in a way look like skin texture, so these small pores that you have in the face. To smoothen out the face area at some points I could have used some odorless paint thinner to solve the pigments a bit more into the paper, but I was not really sure what this will do to the opacity of the colors, so I wasn't sure if my white probably fades and gets too dark, so I did not really decide for this one. At some point I tried the colorless blender, but I was not happy with this as much as I thought I was, so I stopped using it again. And I just went with the pencils, which in the end had the result that I expected it to have. Except for the fact that the overall end result was a bit darker than I wanted it to have, but this was something I just realized when I watched it on my computer screen. So the piece was done, I was quite happy. I received some nice comments on Instagram, which I personally did not expect, as this was one of the first drawings or paintings that I did where comments were really coming in on its own, which was nice to see. So I guess this was something the majority of my followers liked to see. Although I called it finished, 2 days later the brush and pencil touch-up texture and titanium white powder arrived, so I wanted to test if I can probably go a bit lighter on this one. So I mixed these two together and tried how it works. I used a very small brush and the mixture and added some more highlights. So I just used the brush and go over the very light or lightest areas again, just to see if it is brighter than the pencil itself was, and it was. So this stuff was really amazing. It works in a way like a thinned paint, and you can move it around quite easily with your brush, and you can create highlights, and it is just amazing. You just need to be careful not to overdo everything, so not to put highlights everywhere and everywhere, because it's so much fun to paint. Yeah, just be careful, but this stuff is really a must-have if you go for color pencils, I think. I really recommended using it for highlights. It is so much easier than trying to get the highlights with just your white pencils. This is it for today's video demonstration. If you have any comments or questions, please leave me below in the comments as usual. I will be happy to assist you. I hope you liked the video and it was of any use for you. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. You can also click the small bell icon just to receive a notification when new videos are coming up for me. And I look forward to see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye bye.